What's up, Radiant Icons, and welcome back to Dare to Be Iconic, the podcast made for icons daring to be themselves. I'm your host, Amanda Policelli, and for today's Tea Time Sesh, we are giving a sneak peek into Dare to Be Iconic's second ever masterclass, Daring to Be Confident. That is on April 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can secure your tickets on dareToBeIconic.com under the Empowerment Events section. But in today's Tea Time Sesh, not only am I giving you a little bit of a teaser of what to expect in that live masterclass, but I'm also going to be spilling the tea on my why behind this class. Why did I choose to create this curriculum, to create this class, and share it with you guys? And confidence obviously is the core of Dare to Be Iconic, because when I say dare to be iconic, I mean dare to be you. There is nothing more powerful in this world than daring to be yourself. And that all stems from being so comfortable and confident in your skin. So let's get to it, Radiant Icons. Are you ready? Because your tea time sesh is starting now. Now, the Daring to Be Confident Masterclass is a 90-minute live interactive virtual masterclass, so you can join from anywhere in the world and tune in. And I will be guiding you with tools, exercises, and strategies that I've personally used in my life. It's basically the ultimate confidence playbook. And I'll be answering your questions live throughout the whole entire thing, plus some Dare to Be Iconic announcements and a special giveaway for two lucky Radiant Icons who attend the live masterclass. I think the really cool thing about the Daring to Be Confident masterclass is that it's actually an extension of the 30-day social media challenge, Daring to Be Confident, that we did last February on Valentine's Day. And I think what's really cool about that particular challenge and now this masterclass is that it was inspired by a really low point in my life, and I'm able to turn that pain into power. And that specific pain was my journey with eczema. I know I've mentioned it briefly on the podcast before, and I know I've been a little bit more vocal about it on social media, but the Daring to Be Confident 30-day social media challenge all came to be because of how low my self-esteem and mental health was because of my eczema flare up. I've struggled with eczema my entire life, and I hadn't had a flare up in about 7 years. And it wasn't until I had turned 25 around my birthday where my legs, and that's where I get eczema like the worst for me, is like my legs and like the inside of my elbows. Um, it just started to flare up, and then it spread to my chest and to my face, and I've never experienced that before in my life, especially because my eczema was dormant for 7 years of my life. And I just remember calling all of my girlfriends and just feeling so broken because my self esteem was so extremely low. And I was fighting this constant battle of not recognizing my skin in the mirror and just wanting to feel pretty, just wanting to feel beautiful again, just wanting to feel like myself because I wasn't recognizing the body that I was in. And that's what I think a lot of people don't talk about when you struggle with, you know, with your skin. And when it comes to eczema, there's not a lot of people out there that talk about it and vocalize how detrimental it can be for your mental health. And I just felt so incredibly alone. Oh, already crying. Okay. But I just felt so incredibly alone on this journey because I would look on social media and I would see all these girls with like perfect skin. And like my skin was attacking me and I didn't recognize who I was. And that really messed me up mentally. I was at the lowest low, like even lower than when I got out of my breakup. And I was so frustrated with myself on top of that because I was like, I did all this work to help my mindset. And I still am reverting back to I'm not pretty enough. I'm not enough because my skin to me looks ugly. I am ugly automatically by association because I didn't recognize what I was seeing in the mirror. And I remember being on the phone call with Deandra, one of my really good friends, and she was just being there for me and telling me that you're not alone in this. Like, we all go through our own personal struggles with confidence and with our body. Like, there's always something that we're insecure about. It was in that moment on that phone call when I realized, you know what? we really are going on this journey together. Because the more friends that I opened up to about how I felt regarding my confidence and my eczema, they opened up to me in return about how they were feeling about certain things in their life that, were an insecurity of theirs that they were battling with and how it affected their confidence. I felt less alone because I could relate to them on some level of, I don't feel my best. I'm really struggling here. And so I created the 30-day Daring to Be Confident social media challenge. And when I saw the results from all the lovely radiant icons who participated in that challenge, I was like, there is something here. There is something so magical about this. How can we extend it to be even bigger than just a challenge? Let's create momentum. So I created the Daring to Be Confident Masterclass. Now, let's get to the sneak peek of what to expect. So, the first step in radiating confidence is understanding confidence, but understanding what it means to you because we all have different definitions of confidence. But all that matters for you to radiate it like never before is to understand your own personal definition of it. Because confidence infiltrates every other aspect of our lives. So we need to know what it means to us. My personal definition of confidence comes from this unwavering belief in yourself. Even when the world tries to shake you, because it will, and it will try to shake you so many times, but you have to have this unwavering belief in yourself. And for me, if that's my personal definition, then I've always been confident because I've always had this underlining belief in who I am. Even when shit hits the fan, I still believe in myself. So that's my definition of confidence. And that's how I can radiate it from the inside out because I believe in that for me. And I allow that definition to lead me into every area of my life, into every relationship in my life, because that's how I show up as my most confident, most boldest self. So, when it comes to understanding what confidence means to me, challenge yourself, look within and see, okay, what is my definition of confidence? And how can I apply that to multiple areas of my life? How can I lead with that definition in my life? And when it comes to defining, right, what confidence means to me, sometimes it's not that easy to get to the nitty gritty of it, right? Confidence is a tricky thing. And when it comes to deciding on that definition of confidence that is so personal to you, I challenge you to think of what was a time where you felt most confident and what contributed to that moment. And a moment where I felt the most confident recently would be the Spanish Grand Prix. At the Spanish Grand Prix, I was fully embracing the experience for what it is, and I was making connections, and I was embracing who I was. I was daring to be myself. I was literally living out the definition of dare to be iconic. That made me feel the most confident because I wasn't trying to be someone that I was not. I was fully showing up into every room, to every event as myself. And it kept showing me that when you lean into who you are and when I lead with this confidence, having this unwavering belief in myself, magic is going to happen for me. And what contributed to that moment for me to feel so confident in myself? Well, it was preparation, it was passion, and it was trusting that I belonged in these spaces. So now that we have chosen our personal definition of confidence and a moment where we let confidence lead us, it's now time to think of the external factors that shape our opinion about confidence. And here's the thing, like I mentioned in my reasoning as to why I started the Daring to Be Confident concept, right? Whether it was that challenge or now the master class, it all was how these external factors, for me, social media, affected the way I saw myself, how it affected my self esteem, how it affected my self confidence. Because for me, I lived in a world where my feed was all of perfect people, always looking perfect, having perfect bodies, having perfect skin, having everything that was perfect. And when I looked in the mirror and I saw my eczema flare up that was red and scratchy and bright and bold that you draw attention to no matter where you were looking, I wasn't perfect. But what I realized is that my insecurity does not define me. And confidence doesn't mean not having insecurities. We're human. We're all going to have insecurities, but it's about showing up despite of your insecurities. So every day, that personal definition of confidence that I have for myself, which is having this unwavering belief in myself, no matter how much the world wants to shake me, right? And in that instance, eczema was trying to shake me, right? Eczema was my insecurity that was having its chokehold on me, affecting my confidence. It doesn't mean that's not an insecurity of mine. My eczema will always, always, always be an insecurity of mine. That will never go away. But it's how I decide to show up despite my insecurities, despite my eczema. How do I show up? How do I decide to be confident in that moment? When I don't feel like an icon, when I don't feel like a bad bitch, how do I show up for myself? How do I lead with confidence? So let's break it down. My external factor was social media and seeing perfect people with perfect bodies and perfect skin. That fed into what I thought confidence was. It wasn't until I broke down that concept of confidence for me and decided on my personal definition, and then went to a moment where I felt the most confident, where I felt my most boldest, most iconic self, where I truly did radiate confidence like never before. Okay, how are they intertwined? It was because no matter how much my eczema was flaring up in the Spanish heat, I never let it define me while I was at the Spanish Grand Prix. I showed up as myself. I didn't let eczema define me. I didn't let it shake me. I showed up in every room, every day as myself. I led with confidence. I led with this unwavering belief in myself. I didn't let those external factors, I didn't let my insecurities dictate how I was going to show up. And that's what you need to decide in this next step. What is your confidence block and how can you overcome it? And if you loved all of this, this is just the beginning of the ultimate confidence playbook. So make sure to secure your spot for April 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern for my next masterclass, Daring to Be Confident. You can secure your spot in the show notes below at daretobeiconic.com under the empowerment events section. All right, Radiant Icons, that is your tea time sesh for today. If you enjoyed today's episode and a little sneak peek of what to expect in Daring to Be Confident, the master class, make sure to subscribe, to leave a rating, a review, to tell your friends about us, to tell everyone and anyone, because we love more Radiant Icons and our iconic community of ours. But honestly, you guys, thank you so much for listening and being here and all the great stuff that you do for me and Dare to Be Iconic. I love you guys so much. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys next week. Remember, Radiant Icons, dare to be iconic. Bye.